1. Priya spins a lie. Feeling the pressure to flush out the informant in the gang, Mark tries to hunt down Ravi before finding him at the boxing den. There, Ravi confronts Mark, but backs down when Zach makes an entrance. Afterwards, Ravi tries to call Mark's bluff, but Priya ends up raising Mark's suspicions even further when she tries to make out that her boyfriend is innocent. Desperate, Mark visits Priya and Ravi's flat to find evidence, but Priya catches him in the act. In the living room, Priya thinks on her feet and comes up with a lie about the nature of Ravi and Jack's relationship. But when Ravi later drives out of the square with Mark, Priya is left well and truly horrified. What is Ravi's plan with Mark? 2. Oscar plays Ian and Elaine. After a night of partying to cover up his heartbreak, Oscar turns up at the cafe, where Ian acts on advice from Vicky and recruits Oscar to help him out with his election campaign. Later in the week, Oscar accepts a request from Elaine to lead a smear campaign against Ian. However, Ian soon catches wind of their mischievous plan. Unfortunately for Oscar, Ian and Elaine then realise that the Branning boy has played them both, which results in them both sacking him. How will Oscar take the bad news? 3. Phil avoids visiting Nigel. With Nigel living at the care home, Phil continues to beat around the bush when it comes to visiting his old friend. Instead, Phil offers to accompany Sam to her radiotherapy session. Phil and Sam are delayed when Callum arrives with Lexi, who is clearly missing Nigel. As Lexi, Julie and Callum head to the care home to see Nigel, will Phil regret his decision to keep his distance? 4. Max disappoints Lauren. Hearing that the car lot is up for sale, Lauren feels concerned for her future. Trying to be optimistic, Penny persuades Lauren to look into buying it herself, but the mum of two is rejected by the bank. Ian then suggests that Lauren ask her dad for the cash, but Max isn't willing to put his money down. Will Lauren give up or keep trying to secure the funds? 5. Ravi admits the truth to Mark, panicked for Ravi's safety. Priya heads out to find Vicky and reveal all about the criminal business that Mark and Ravi are involved in. At first, Vicky refuses to believe that her brother has connections to a gang, but Phil later confirms that Priya is telling the truth. Over at Walford Common, Ravi comes clean to Mark before trying to goad him into a physical fight. Once Ravi returns to Walford, it's clear that he's struggling with his mental health before Priya discovers self-harm scars on his body while helping him to clean up. Can Priya convince Ravi to accept the help that he needs? 6. Cindy riles Max up. As Lauren mopes over Max's refusal to help, Oscar and Cindy can't help but make jibes towards her. Subsequently, Cindy antagonizes Max about his refusal to invest in the car lot, which encourages him to change his mind and tell Lauren that he will pay up after all. To celebrate, Max and Lauren head over to the Vic for some drinks. But when the dad and daughter have separate conversations with Peter and Jack, it becomes clear that they have different plans for the business. Can Max and Lauren work together in peace? 7. Ravi breaks down. Following her upsetting discovery, Priya feels anxious about Ravi's mental health. However, Ravi hides away at the gym to avoid any questions on the subject. Continuing to feel worried, Priya tracks down Jack and reveals that Ravi has compromised his position as an informant. Subsequently, Priya tries to convince Ravi that he should visit the doctors. As Ravi breaks down and cries in Priya's arms, could this be a turning point for him? 8. Lexi hides her feelings. After pretending to be unwell, Lexi spends the day with Phil and Sam rather than going to school. In response, Callum tells Lexi that she needs to visit the doctor if she takes any more time off, but it soon becomes clear that she is covering her upset about Nigel. Can Callum help Lexi open up about her emotions? 9. Mark plans to hand over Ravi Iron. At the cafe, Ross does his best to convince Vicky that she is safe. However, Mark ruins the mood when he gives the couple grief for getting involved in his business. After Mark stalks off, Ross follows and tries to reason with him. In turn, Mark reveals that he has to hand over the informant to ensure Vicky's safety. Feeling torn, Ross watches Mark head off on his way. But when Vicky asks Phil to help, will he step in? 10. Peter offers his support. On Lauren's first day as manager of the car lot, Peter is right behind his wife. Lauren soon feels disgruntled when she finds out how Max plans to operate the business. To prove herself, Lauren agrees to sell a classic car in 24 hours. Does she have what it takes to pull it off? 11. Priya and Ravi visit the doctors. At the doctors, Priya tries to persuade Ravi to open up about his mental health. Her efforts don't go to plan, though, as Ravi holds back while being assessed. Still, it is deemed appropriate for Ravi to be put on a waiting list for the mental health team. At first, Priya is frustrated by the lack of immediate action, but it is eventually agreed that Ravi should be given a medication plan. After the visit, Ravi continues to bottle up his emotions, but tells Priya that he's on the road to recovery. Is he telling the truth? 12. Lauren is attacked. While on shift at the car lot, Lauren takes Mark for a spin in the classic motor that she's selling. Once they return, Mark admits that he doesn't have the cash to go through with a purchase, but agrees to take Lauren to lunch to make up for it. Mark then briefly leaves Lauren on her own, but in that short time, she is accosted by a criminal who attacks her, then speeds off in the car. Thankfully, Mark comes to Lauren's aid, before escorting her back to the square to Max and Peter. How will Lauren recover from her frightening ordeal?